Hi, my name is Madison Thompson, and this is my phylum project archive for the phylum Arthropoda, and it's a phylum in the kingdom Animalia. This is for Biology 102, Section 4. Phylum Arthropoda contains organisms with hard exoskeletons and jointed appendages. Exoskeletons are made primarily of chitin. Arthropods molt or shed their shells to form larger ones to accommodate their sizes. Jointed appendages, legs, are a defining characteristic of arthropods. If they don't have these legs, they lose the ability to eat, fill, respirate, defend themselves, walk, and mate. And therefore, if they don't have this specific function, they are not considered to be in the Arthropoda phylum. Arthropod bodies are divided into sections that have different functions. Examples include the head, torso, tail, and stinger. And over 85% of all known species are arthropods. Subphylums include Chelicetera, Myriapoda, Hexapoda, and Crustacea. Chelicetera are spiders, mites, and horseshoe crabs. Myriapoda are land-dwelling arthropods. Examples include centipedes and millipedes. Hexapoda are insects, and Crustacea are most marine arthropods. The arthropod that I chose to study is the Brachypelma smythe. Its common name is the Mexican red-knee tarantula, and Brachypelma is used to describe many spiders. However, it commonly focuses on tarantulas. It comes from the Greek word meaning short and sole of feet, and these two roots describe how spiders are small and low to the ground. It could also be a warning that it might bite your foot. The species name Smythe is in honor of H. Smith, the person who collected the first known sample of Brachypelma smythe. And the taxonomic information for the species is seen on the right. Here's some images of the spider that I found and used for my project. As you can see on the left, it has 8 legs and 2 jointed sections of its body. These legs have joints, which are colored red, indicating that it is, in fact, a Mexican red-knee tarantula. And it has its fangs up here and its egg sac back here, and the center of its body there. So Brachypelma smythe are insectivores. They hunt primarily large insects, frogs, and mice, and they capture prey by ambush based on sensory perceptions, biting them with venom, and then consuming the liquefied remains. The way that this works is that the Brachypelma smythe build a burrow that goes deep underneath a cactus or other thorny plant in the desert. And they then wait at the edge of their burrow, and using their sense of smell, sight, and the filling that occurs on their legs and the hair on their legs, they detect one another organisms walking by. They then jump onto that organism, bite it with its venom, wait for it to be liquefied, consume the liquefied portions, and then save the non-consumed parts of the organism by picking them up and carrying them deep into the burrow and then waiting at the edge once again. They're chemoheterotrophs. As described above, they use chemosynthesis to convert the energy that they consume in a liquid form into usable energy, and this can be done through glycolysis in the Krebs cycle. And they're heterotrophs because they consume other organisms. Chemoheterotrophs are defined as organisms that consume other organisms and then use the energy that they consumed when they capture the other organisms to convert nutrients into usable forms to have energy to sustain their life functions. And they convert energy from prey into usable forms, and they also gain carbon through consumption. So they can inhale carbon, but the best way to gain a large amount of carbon is through consuming other organisms that already have. And they have limited energy due to trophic levels, not as much limited energy as, say, Hunter, because she's a very large organism, and your typical spider is going to be about this big at max. So they have to consume much less energy than some other organisms, but they still have to consume a lot of other organisms to get where they need to be. Their mode of reproduction is gametic meiosis, and this happens through 2 processes. So the first is when male spiders deposit sperm in nest, and then they wait for a female spider to arrive. Once the female spider arrives, the male mounts the female spider, injects sperm into the females that they picked up from the nest, and flee. Most female spiders tend to get violent after this process, so that's why the male has to run away. Then female spiders carry fertilized eggs from summer to spring. Fertilization typically happens during summer. It's the mating season. They then carry egg sacs they produce by laying the eggs down in their web and then wrapping them up in an abundance of silk with 200 to 400 eggs for 1 to 3 months, so a second season from spring to fall. Then hatchlings are carried in the egg sac for an additional 3 weeks. And then after that, they're left in their mother's nest for 12 to 16 days. And from there, they progress into adolescence. So as you can see at the bottom of this slide, the diagram, adolescence occurs after the hatchling process. And it's the time between hatchling and sexual maturity. So this is 4 years for males and 6 to 7 years for females. Then from the age of sexual maturity to death, the adult stage is happening. For males, this age is 4 to 10 years, and for females, it's 6 to 30 years. The reason for this is because females tend to get violent after mating, and they'll kill their male mates eventually, right? You can only do something so many times without the outcome occurring. So for males, they have a much shorter lifespan. Sorry about that. My iPad almost died. So the source, range, and distribution. The spider was found at PetSmart in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Brachypelma smythii is found along the central Pacific coast of Mexico only. This is seen by the green region, indicated by the black arrow at the bottom of the slide. In a natural setting, Brachypelma smythii is clumped in one location. However, it is a common pet, so it does extend this location a little bit, but these pets are left in cages and kept in residential areas, so they don't serve the same function as they normally would. They don't have the same ecological role as their natural family does. So as a result, they're not included as part of the distribution. Their habitat is dry areas with little to no vegetation, deserts, or tropical deciduous forests. This has to do with the fact that they like to burrow under thorny plants like cactuses, and they like to burrow in rocky areas. And tropical and terrestrial habitat regions are the most common for these organisms. And this includes rainforest and scrub forest, which a scrub forest is seen on the right. And then the primary ecological role of this organism is very limited. The organism itself, the species itself, does not have a significant impact on the environment. However, the genus Brachypelma as a whole regulates the population of insects. This is like taking 20 people that are doing a little bit and putting them all together. At that point, there are 20 people that have, as a group, a large contribution. However, the species itself, being part of this group, and only 1 out of 20, doesn't have a huge contribution. However, they are still considered to be a keystone species because they provide a habitat for birds. The birds use their spider silk to build their nest, and they also provide a source of food for birds, moths, and lizards because they are prey of these organisms. Here's my references. And that's the end of Organism 2.